So, welcome, Akshat. I want to ask you a few questions about your job so that the youngsters who are doing their MBAs right now get some insights into what the market is and what different job profiles have. So, let's talk a little bit about your journey and what made you pursue management after BTech.
Hi, Shikhar. To be really honest with you, if you talk about me pursuing management after BTech, in my even in my second year, I had no clarity about what to go for in my future. Actually, I was quite involved more on the co-curricular activities. I was in a band, a semi-professional band, and we used to perform here and there. And that is something which I did most of the time during my graduation. However, because I did that because that helped me a lot in developing my own personality. Overcoming your stage fear. Facing people, being projected onto a stage and expressing what you feel and what you want to. Uh, propagate to the people. So once during in that phase only, I realized that this is something which I would prefer rather than going more into the engineering side. So in my third year, I had we had a PDP session by Carol Launch in Dehradun, in which where I met some of the faculties, and the way the things that they were talking about, how much different a CAT examination is from your, GATE and all those engineering exams. I realized that this is something which I can do better in. I can perform better in this thing. So after interacting with them, learning from them what this is and how different that is from the current line of work that I'm doing or current line of stream that I'm following in my graduation, I realized that an MBA is something which will help me develop more, in a holistic way, not just on one side of, not just a technical side of my profession, but how to communicate your ideas, how to pitch an idea, how to sell an idea, how to manage an idea, how to manage something which you either you are creating or somebody else has created and you are handling it for them. Like me, I'm not an entrepreneur, but I'm handling a part of business for a company, and I have total independence over that, how I do it, the total ownership that I'm having over this. So yes, this is the main reason why I chose management after BTech, because it was something more than just one aspect of a business. It was
True.
about everything that you
Yep.
can do. So yeah.
Great. Looks like you really thought about it. And so I want to know how did you decide on a sales profile after the MBA?
In my first year, I applied for many companies, but because my resume was quite vapid, I was not shortlisted into many companies. I was shortlisted into FMCG company called Imami Limited, the brand company known for brands like Neverton Oil and Zandu Balm.
All right.
So when I first cleared that thing, I even then I was not completely clear about whether I should go for sales or a marketing thing. But when fortunately, when I joined the company, they threw me in a remote location in Maharashtra, and it was a sales project. I was trying to work on something which was, you know, a kind of a pilot project in that territory. And during my internship, I explored many places, many rural areas, remote areas, all alone on my own,
All right.
in a totally remote area which I'm not familiar with, Maharashtra. Villages of Maharashtra, you talk to people out there, you will face many issues. You will have your bad days also, because it's a you when you are on the field, you see all the things which are total which display the reality of the system.
True.
Because being in a room away from all these things, you are kept away from many of the things which are happening on ground, which you are not familiar with.
True.
So you go there, you see the good side and the bad side of people. You see
Yep.
how some people can react to you. There will be different reactions to what you say.
Yep.
If
True.
you're pitching something, if you're, for example, when I was there, and there was this he deodorant by Imami. It was newly launched at that point of time.
All right.
So there were some very positive reactions and there were some very negative reactions. Some people were, more open to experiment. Some people were totally rejecting it because, they were more inclined towards something which can offer them better margin, a lower quality product or something else. So one
Yep.
technique works in some places and it does not, it totally fails in the other places. So that,
True.
that that randomness of how somebody's going to react, understanding people, that is something which attracted me towards this thing, because sales is not just about selling. If you talk about FMCG sales, I'm not selling something. I have a team who is going to sell something to the people.
True.
So
Yeah.
how to manage a team? That is one aspect, people management. Second aspect is
Definitely.
definitely sales. You're convincing a channel partner for something. You want to drive something in the market. You have to convince the channel partners, your top ABC class outlets. You need to convince them. That is the convincing part. Third part is supply chain. You need to ensure that you have the proper inventory with you. You need to ensure that the time, dispatch, packing, picking of stocks, and everything happens on time. It's not just I have taken, it's not just that I have an order and it's done. You need to get it. You need to ensure that there is supply. There is no problems during the time at the time of supply as well. So it's a combination of many things, not just selling. So that is
True.
something which gives you a lot of power, a lot of you know ownership over a business. You feel like you're doing something. You're making a difference every day. You're making a difference.
Yeah.
There's a lot of to be honest with you, there's a lot of capital moving right in front of your eyes. You see stocks coming out, going away, stocks coming, everything just at your actions, just on what you decide. So that kind of ownership. It makes you very lively and very, what can I say? You are making a difference in something. Yeah, so
True.
that's why I liked sales when I joined Imami, and fortunately, I got into Reckitt. And yeah,
All right. So currently, what is your typical day like?
my typical day starts in the morning. I wake up in the morning. I first of all I check my emails if there is any, because we get daily updates from the region on all the parameters. It's not just about value. It's not just about numbers. It's more about those. It's more than those things. You need to focus on coverage. Whether your products are your products are effectively covering as many outlets as they're supposed to. Are your salesmen selling that required number of lines that they are supposed to? Are they pushing an NPD like they're supposed to? So it's not just you have a target of this much lakh and you need to do that. You need to deliver on all the other parameters as well. So
All
I
right.
start up in the day. I keep my own tracker. I update data in the tracker. I share it with my people on WhatsApp. I conduct a gate meeting in the morning. How to plan the day, how to plan for the next 3 days, especially during the times of closing. We have like on this day, this is the plan. Second day, this is the plan. Third day, this is the plan. No deviations from that plan is allowed. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to hit that customer. You need to talk to them. They have
Yeah.
not purchased at this point of time. They might purchase at this point of time. This is all what my day begins with. Then after that, if a market visit is required, for example, if one of my team members is having some issues in the market, so I will go with them, talk to the customers, what is the issue, how is the business going? Because you sometimes you just need to keep, you have to maintain a relationship with them as well.
Yeah.
So talking about the business, how everything is going on, you also get very important insights from them. For example, if I'm telling you that the market is having a slump, it's because the customers tell me that the optics are reduced and all those things. It's them who tell me. It's not, I don't know,
Yeah.
because I'm not the shopkeeper, I'm not the retailer, I'm not selling that. They tell me. And after that, the evening review, everybody comes back, how the market was, what good they did, something bad that happened, and then again the next day. This is how it begins.
All
Sometimes we have weekly reviews with the upper management, why this is happening, why this is not happening. So yeah, this is
right.
how my typical day is basically.
All right. And what has been the most important learning or growth for you in this role?
I think, to be honest with you, the most important thing that I learned in this profile has been to, always keep calm and have your mind in your own control, because there will be times when things won't go as you are expecting them to go. There will be many issues you will face every day. There will be, because see, it's not a very systematic thing. If you're working in FMCG company industry, you will see that there are many unorganized sectors which are involved in that thing. For example, the channel partners that you talk about, they work as a business. They're not working as a company. I'm an employee of a company, but my channel partner is a businessman.
True.
So you need to convince them. You need
True.
to convince them how the company is planning and how the company's vision merges with the businessman's vision. Because the businessman wants business, he wants his own margin.
True.
But I, as a company, I want an overall growth of all my brands, not just key. If I have done this much target by selling just one of my products, I need to ensure that all of my products are selling well equally as they're
True.
supposed to. So
True.
this learning, this negotiating with people, persuading them, and keeping calm and knowing that I have to do this because there is nobody else who is going to do it for you. I have to do it.
Yep.
That has been the most important learning, if you ask me.
All right. And how do you think that someone can prepare better for similar roles like this?
One of the biggest issues that people face in sales job is that people think that sales jobs are something because that is something which perpetuates in the society that they look down upon it because sales में है तुम्हें जाना पड़ेगा ऐसे बात करना पड़ेगा बेचना पड़ेगा that is the biggest problem the biggest problem is the mentality.
Yeah.
But sales, if you ask me, the best way you can prepare for it is to accept that, yeah, if it's a sales job, yes, I have to do it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
If they are if they are paying you a money, they expect because revenue. The only thing, if you see a P&L statement, you will see that there is only one source of income, which is revenue, and revenue is brought in by the salespeople only. So if you're handling that big of a segment of a company, you need to know that things are not going to be very easy for you.
Yeah.
So the best way I think that what personally helped me is to first overcome your fear of rejection. That is the biggest thing. People,
Definitely.
not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to accept what you're offering. Accept it. It's okay. If he is not taking, somebody else will take it. Point number one. Second thing is being more, vocal in what you want to communicate. Now, I'm not talking about being an extrovert. I personally am still an introverted person. I like spending my time alone. But given the chance, if I have to do something, I will keep everything inside and go straight and talk to the person who is having some issue.
Yep.
I will not be like, I don't want to talk to him. I need to clear that thing. So second thing is being better at your communication. And third is looking for, this is something which my manager told me. Third is looking for patterns. Because the best way to understand how people are going to react is understanding patterns. Every person is
Definitely.
different, but
Yep.
there can't be 7 billion different types of patterns. No? There are going to be some clusters of patterns. If
True.
this person belongs to this kind of a category, this person belongs and are very important when if you're going planning to go for a sales job.
True. So let's talk a little bit about future and what are the career progression opportunities that you see after this stint.
Now, see, I am a part of sales leadership program of Reckitt Beneficent High Division. We have two divisions. One is health division, which handles Dettol, Veet, Durex, Strepsils, and all those brands. I handle Harpic, Lysol, Coil and Vanish, Cherry Blossom, Finish, dishwasher, and all those things. So the career progression basically starts off after 2 years in the stint, you become an area sales manager. After that, depending on your performance, you climb up the ladder to something like a regional key account manager. From there, you might go to a CCAM or something else division into e-commerce or something else. Then you go on to become a ZSM, a zonal sales manager. From there, you go for an RSM. From RSM, you can there are many possibilities. There is no fixed ladder of hierarchy that you need to follow.
All right.
You can go into many directions as well.
Yep.
So yeah, for right now, as of now, the main career progression that I'm looking forward is to become an ASM in Reckitt Benckiser. After that, there are multiple choices available in the company, depending on
All
how you
right.
perform.
May the force be with you. And why
Ah,
would
sure,
you?
it has.
Yeah. So why would you recommend someone such a role straight out of B school?
Because B schools teach you a lot of things about how to view something from the top. It's
Yep.
more like a top-down approach, but I think sales teaches you a bottom to up approach. You see problems what are happening down at the ground.
Yep.
You tell those to the people above you. Now you need to have those persuasion, convincing skills to tell them that what you are saying is right, what you are saying is happening in the market. Because sometimes even I do that. If somebody from my team tells me, "Sir, this is not happening. This is not happening. This is not," I will say, "You are give me some, straight up facts or give me some proof. If you're just making castles in the air, I'm not going to believe that thing."
True.
So that is something which you learn. That to ensure that people understand you, people understand your pain point, you need to back that up with facts and statements. So if you are going for some such kind of a role straight out of a B school, first thing that you need to ensure is that you need to be confident in your approach. You cannot, you cannot just fall back because you're afraid of something, because you're afraid of speaking up for something.
True.
That is one thing. Second thing is you need to be decent with numbers. Now, I personally am not very genius at mathematics, but you need to have your fundamental mathematics clear, because it's all
Right.
about percentage, proportion, growth, and everything else. That is the basic mathematics that you need to have.
Yep.
You should be decent with numbers. You should get your, if you're not good with numbers, get yourself comfortable around them. Take some time. If you're not okay, if you're not very fast at maths, you can't, calculate numbers at first. Take your time. Be calm. Take your time, but don't haste and give something wrong. Better to be correct. Better to be slow and correct than to be quick and wrong. Because if you are wrong when you're presenting your data, you're wrong at presenting your numbers to somebody whose money, whose investment is involved in that thing. Na,
Yep.
it can backfire for you. So you need to be confident. You need to be sure that if I'm doing something, I'm right. Take your time, but do it correctly. Third is be okay with making mistakes. It's okay, because this in this profession you can now never be 100% correct. There are always going to be some flaws, because this is not something which is entirely in your control. You cannot control a supermarket from opening or closing because of COVID.
Of course.
But what do you do? You can't just sit at home and say, "Ki, yeah, boss, the shop is closed, the market is closed, I can't do." You need to find a way.
Yep.
So you need to find a way. That is the main thing. You cannot just sit with your hands, like this and say, Ki, "Oh, it's difficult. I can't do that." You need to find a way. अगर ये नहीं हो रहा तो क्या करोगे? So
Yeah.
these three things, the problem solving is, I think, the most crucial thing in sales, because it defines somebody from the rest. You cannot, because a person who achieves something, that means that he has done something different from the other people. There were some people who achieved extraordinary numbers in lockdown as well, because they did something else. Na?
Yeah.
अगर उन्होंने करा है तो तुमको भी करना पड़ता. That is simple.
True.
So these three things is something which anybody who's going for such a road of the school, B school, because B school is going to tell you about the 4 Ps. 4 Ps are important in sales as well, but 4 Ps, how you map that out, how you plan those things, but how do you execute those things? You can plan anything, but
True.
how well do you execute them? That is
True.
something which a sales job can teach you, and I don't think a B school can teach anybody that thing.
True.
That's all.
Akshat, thank you for your time. I think your answers were very insightful and full of wisdom. So I want to thank you once again for taking out the time and joining us in this conversation. Thanks once again.
Thank you, Shikhar. The